I'm from the same place as trap music. This that first react music. They can't hold me back. I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch this. My flow, I can't rush this. Put them on silence when I'm talking. You should hush, bitch. I am from the heavy base. My bro called a heavy case. Got a couple.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Tonight, we will be smoking on the word perfect. In American culture, the word perfect is commonly displayed as a measurement of what is thought to be the best or without flaw. And we want to know, is it bad, good, or misunderstood? But before we do that, make sure to like and share the video, y'all. And also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God, Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God.
Peace, God. What you dealing with?
Man, everything is beautiful.
You know that's right.
Everything is wonderful. Everything ain't perfect. You know, but we got beauty and we got wonder, you know, so we getting somewhere. We working on it.
It might be perfect. We don't know how it's defined yet.
Oh, no, it might be in my own little world. It might be perfect.
It might be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, that's good, man.
How you feeling, God?
Nah, everything is everything over here. You know what I mean? Like, taking it one day at a time. I'm still working on this fence. So I'm actually doing 2 fence at the same time. You know, my ADD got me. I just can't just do one thing. It's crazy. So,
right.
So yeah, I'm knocking them out. Like I got my posts in the ground. I got my panels up. So everything is going good on that side. I got all my cinder blocks laid out and ready and prepped. So now I just need to get my mixer and I get the laying block for real. Put this masonry, put my tools to work.
Put the tools to work. Yeah. That chisel. The chiseling. Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful, God. All the time, progress being made. That's what we always promote. Peace, positive, and productivity. So if y'all new to the channel, y'all, what we do is first we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight.
Word up.
And what we do here at Cigar Sundays is we define words, sayings, and things used in American culture, terms, phrases, and words used in American culture, and we have a good time with it, y'all. We have 3 questions that we always shape around our word, and we answer the first question, and then we go into the definition of the word. And then we answer the following questions 2 and 3. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and pull up tonight's questions for the word perfect. So our first question this evening is always, what are your thoughts when you hear the word perfect? What are your thoughts when you hear the word perfect? Let us know in the comment section below or in the live chat. Number 2, can something truly be perfect? If yes or no, explain. Can something truly be perfect? If yes or no, explain. And we will close out this evening with our third and final question. How does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? How does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? And these will be our 3 questions this evening. Also, that last question before we go, is it bad, good, or misunderstood?
Definitely.
So, our first question this evening, with the guy, Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm. What are your thoughts when you hear the word perfect?
Peace. Hey, good questions as always, God. So at first glance, first hearing the word perfect, I think about a fantasy, right? I think about something that was given to us on TV by the movies, right? Everything could be solved in 30 minutes. Everything could be solved in 2 hours. The good guy will always win. Kind of thing. They live happily ever after. They never show you their life after. It's just
the life after death, life after death.
right. Nah, like people get married, like they get married in the cartoons. They're like, oh, they live happily ever after, and that's just it. Like they just married and it just stops there, right?
No, the TV shows gave us, the what's the Cosby's, Family Ties.
Yeah, but all
They
those
shows
all
were
those joints all those joints was resolved in 30 minutes. Like if they
they
wasn't
did
resolved, if they
what?
wasn't resolved in 30 minutes, then the next 30 minutes, because to be continued.
You talk about the next episode. You can't solve shit in one day all the time.
Right?
Sometimes it take a couple episodes, right? Maybe.
Right? Nah, I just think that our idea that there is a such thing that humans can be perfect, or that there is something that is besides the universe as it is already, right? Besides nature and besides existence itself being perfect. Um, but I think most people won't accept those things because those are too regular and too basic, right?
You mean like the
Existence,
trees and the birds and
nature. I'm saying nature is perfect as it is, right? Like
right.
I'm
Right.
saying, like those things, the universe, everything is life is perfect. That's what I'm saying, right? But those things, um, like I said, would be hard for somebody to hold on to and be comfortable with, because they will want situations to be perfect. And I don't know if there's a such thing as a perfect situation, right? Which is question number 2. So, like I said, the first thing I think about when I hear the word perfect is I think about a fantasy, something that's given to us uh, by Steven Spielberg and the likes, and
Steven Spielberg.
and Hanna Barbera and whatnot.
Hanna-Barbera. Hey, Yellowstone. It's a
Yeah,
great place.
great place. George Jetson.
Jellystone National Park. It's a good time.
You know what I'm saying?
And the Jetsons was cool. That was, man,
Super dope.
the Jetsons was the coolest cartoon ever.
Jane, his wife.
He had Astro,
What?
Boy. Yeah.
What? Yeah, son, the
And
whole
they
thing
used
was
to be
fire.
out too, like space sprockets.
Hell yeah.
That's some crazy shit. But I might have to catch up. I might have to see if one of these damn TV subscriptions that they got everybody paying for got some Jetsons on it.
You might have to go to YouTube.
But YouTube will have it. Yeah, they will. They have all the old classics,
Hell yeah.
cartoons. But perfect. What are my thoughts when I hear the word perfect? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is something about church. First thing is always that resonates with the word perfect is where my first lesson of the word perfect was taught. And that was, of course, in the church, in relation to Jesus Christ and God and the perfectness of their estate versus how we not gonna ever get that here. Um, and we'll never be that, so we should just give praise to that perfectness.
Say thank you.
Yeah, say thank you for that perfectness. And then really just keep asking that perfectness to forgive you for all the stuff that you never try to be like that for. So that's where perfect kind of like, that's where that's where it resonates at first. Now, after living that particular mindset of perfect, not being perfect at it at all, and then learning new information, like everything that has come into play from my own experiences. It was kind of like what we was talking about earlier, what we just mentioned earlier, like where it's a version of it. Like, so when I hear perfect, it's like, okay, what's the final result? And what am I satisfied with?
Oh, that's a good one. So what are you satisfied with?
Yeah. So that's where I kind of think like now
Oh, that's really good. That might be
I
where
take,
perfect is at.
I kind of take it from, that was my inception of it, but trying to be, something that is impossible it's more like, okay, well, what can I actually obtain with it, with perfect? And then it's those things that you look at, like, you try to do stuff, and understanding that there is no such thing as failure. The only part of failure is to not try at all. So if you procrastinate, like, I get to it, that's your problem, not mine. I eventually I'll do it. Eventually, you procrastinate, then you're failing. That's how I look at. That's what I apply to me. Like, I'm failing because I'm not trying. So even not being successful in my attempt still is on a road to perfect. That's how I kind of look at it, because I'm trying to get to that result where I'm satisfied. Where it's satisfactory to me. That's success. Like, okay, it's perfect. Because you're not gonna have successes in everything. Some stuff is gonna be a little bit more difficult, but you eventually get there as long as you keep trying. Because to try is to do. So as long as you're doing it, then you have a shot at some sort of perfectness. So that's what I think of when I hear the word perfect. Now, coming from the inception of the church, and then also like in the community too. But that's where you just really, that's where I got it the most at, in the church, because in the community, like, perfect has only been a comparison of, trying to mimic somebody else's something. It's not really, the measure is based on what everyone else is saying is the status quo. It's not you deciding what is your status quo. What's your perfect thing? What would you consider perfect? So yeah, God, that's where I'm at when I hear the word perfect.
No, I like that. I like that satisfaction, because I think that's where the consideration comes in, because you would have to know what you will be satisfied with, right? Because at some point, enough, it has to be enough.
At some point in time, you have to, enough has to be enough, right? Right. At some point in time, you just have to say, you know what, I'm done with it.
I'm done with it. Like, I did enough. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's great. It's perfect as it is. Like, at
you
some
know.
point, right? Like I gave my best attempt, or at some point, enough got to be enough.
Right.
So I like that when you said the word satisfy. I'm
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
rocking with that.
Whatever you satisfied with in the end result, you know, because you're doing the work. I would assume the individual would be the one doing the work to get to whatever is the perfect, you know. So at some point in time, it's like I can't imagine keep saying, "Ah, I'm not good enough. Ah, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
not good enough." Like if you saying that, you're not going to be good enough at whatever it is that you're doing. You're not going to be successful at it because you're doubting yourself.
Especially if you're not doing it while you're saying it.
Right.
Because I think you can be saying that and doing it still. I think eventually you'll fall into it one day, even if you're saying that, because you're still doing it.
Oh
I,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I think all that is just you just being scared, but you still doing it. And
Hmm.
I think eventually you'll fall into it and it'll work. But if you say that and don't do nothing, like let your fear keep you still, keep you in your seat, keep you thinking, then yeah, you're 100% failing.
Yeah. Because no action is getting done. Stuck on stupid.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the most polite way to put it, but you know, it'll get your attention.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everything,
You know.
everything
You
has to be polite. If it
know.
wasn't polite, then you didn't say it to me right, so I don't have to listen because you said it to me wrong. And it doesn't matter if what you said was right or wrong. I ain't like how you said it to me, so damn.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this evening's question, y'all. Um, real quick, we just got finished answering. What are your thoughts? Uh what are you thoughts? Look, that's typo. What are your thoughts when you hear the word perfect? Let us know in the comment section, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get into the definition of the word perfect this evening. We are smoking on the word perfect, and let's go ahead and get into this definition. Perfect is given to us as an adjective. 1A, being entirely without fault or defect, flawless.
Impossible.
Being entirely without fault or defect. Okay? So this is why nobody's perfect,
You cannot do that.
because being entirely without fault, every action has a reaction, opposite, whatever, you know how they know how the saying goes, but every action has a reaction.
Damn, that takes it away right away. Right? Somebody gonna not like what you did nice to somebody else or something like that, right? Like,
You never know.
yeah,
You never know, because what did you say? One of our past shows, you said that you could absolutely not be throwing a punch, but the person can interpret it as a punch
facts.
just because of their lack of, or their inability to be able to communicate.
Yeah, you could have hugged them too hard.
You know, you could have
And
shook their hand too hard,
yeah, and they took your excitement as disrespect.
right? You know, you could have asked a question, you know, and the way you worded it, they were scared to ask you, "What do you mean? Help
Yeah.
me understand."
Mm.
You know, so then they respond in a certain way, you
Yeah, one
know,
1A is impossible for
right?
people.
For humans, right?
For you.
Being entirely, but what happens is with this being entirely without fault or defect, people don't reflect enough on perfect, because admitting your fault is how you move forward, is how you get the perfect.
That's true.
Because
That's true.
because nobody's going to be without fault, but being able to admit it and own up to it, that fortifies integrity, and that shows the ability to not be without flaw. Because see, they saying flawless, right? Not without, to be flawless. Well, admitting your wrongdoings just as well as bigging yourself up for doing good stuff. You saying I'm taking accountability for the negative I do and for the positive I do. I think that's flawed. I think that's perfect.
That's not 1A perfect though.
That ain't 1A perfect.
That ain't 1A perfect.
But I think that's some flaw. I think that's working on flawlessness.
Nah, I'm tracking with you. Like I
You
fucks
know,
with it.
not perfectness, but flawlessness. Look, move the goalpost, right? So yeah, but I do think that you got to be able to do both in order to find the perfectness within yourself, because nobody's going to be without fault or defect, because it's just impossible.
Somebody breath gonna stink. Somebody only put deodorant under one arm. Like anything, you know what I mean? Like everything.
Somebody may not be groomed that well.
Anything, everything, right?
You know,
like it's.
I told you I was on a family thing, and they was like, make sure y'all brush y'all hair, make sure y'all clothes is ironed, and make sure. And I'm like, this. I told my cousin later on when I talked to her, I said, I knew that shit wasn't for me, but I was like, damn, y'all ain't never seen Chef Earl Pearl pop up looking like he just rolled from underneath a rock.
That's funny.
So perfect. B, satisfying all requirements, accurate.
I like that one. We can do that one. That's doable.
Satisfy all requirements, right? We can be accurate.
That's doable. You know why that's doable? Because you can actually set your requirements.
You can.
Right? Like when you set your goals, like you take the time and make them logical and reasonable. All the steps with a reasonable goal, all the steps between where you are and where you need to get to are achievable and attainable if it's a reasonable goal. Right?
Absolutely.
So you can absolutely check all those boxes and be accurate.
Yep.
Yeah. So humans can do that.
Humans can satisfy all requirements.
Yep.
You know, at least those that will, when you want to be free, right? The freedom is it's that mindset of freedom comes with no responsibility and no consequence. So, so you have to satisfy all requirements, and they are set. Whether they're individually set or set by someone else, in order for you to be accurate. So we have C, corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept. Corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept.
I think that's tricky. So I think because even the thing they give you, a perfect gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have to agree on that standard and that concept.
Absolutely. It would be a requirement. It would be, it would be a list of things. Because the ideal standard is something that's made up, right? Like I have an ideal standard for myself.
I have an ideal standard for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it correlates with a perfect gentleman, but since they're using that, but definitely Those are requirements. Those are ideal standards. And that's something that I was saying earlier when I was talking to my wife, is that these ideal standards like this, because we was talking about something else. I asked her another question in relation to, and she brought up something like in relation to these standards. And I was saying that that we all learn things. Everything is learned behavior. So because everything is learned behavior, you know, when I see this right here, now I'm just tying these two together. When I see corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept, that's still some learned behavior, even from
Definitely.
this a perfect gentleman. You know, we would even have to observe the actions of this person.
I'm looking at it now, guy, and I'm going back to what you said when you originally said I have an ideal standard, and I think that would be it. I think it would be super. I think that's a super subject. I think 1C is super subjective to each individual person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you would have to have your own specific requirements and your idea for what a perfect woman would have to be for you.
Right. Right. She would have to fit
Because
those things that check off that box.
because it didn't say corresponding to the standard or to the concept or whatever.
A
It's
social standard.
a social. It says to an ideal standard or
Right.
abstract concept. That sounds like one that one person would have,
Right.
which is doable, right? Because can't nobody tell you what your standards should be other than you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like your homegirls and your homeboys shouldn't tell you who's right for you and who's not right for you if you like this person.
Right. And another example would be like if my ideal standard is I don't cheat. That's my standard. That's my abstract or true concept. But you may have another person that says they okay with having, you know, multiple partners in a relationship and don't consider it cheating. So that would be something that's like, okay, that might be their ideal standard.
Yep.
That might be their abstract concept. That might be perfect to them. So like you said, it is C is left to the individual's own idea
Yeah.
or own preference.
And based off that last example, we would have to hope that sound, right, reasoning and logic would make those two people not be together. Because one person is seeking monogamy, the other person is not. Like that's not necessarily going to be a happy relationship from the start.
I don't know. I mean, if somebody lying, then it could be.
Somebody
Yeah, if somebody lying, you know, you know, if that gentleman think it's perfect to lie to get what they need, and then it's bye. If it's lie and then goodbye, then you know, you know, maybe the young lady shouldn't have been so anxious to try to convince him to stay.
It's crazy. I don't know, but yeah, 1C is definitely super subjective. There's no that is not talking about a universal standard or a social standard, like you said.
Yeah. So then we have D, moving on to D, faithfully reproducing the origin,
The original.
the original, the original. When I say the origin, faithfully reproducing the original, specifically letter perfect. So that sounds like forgery. Nah. Yeah, but reproducing the original. That could be birth. But does anybody reproduce the absolute original?
Hell no. You're not your mother, you're not your father.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? It took them to make you.
It took them to make us, right?
So you and somebody else can't not make you.
So that wipes that off. That's why it's just letter perfect. They talking about something you can make with your hands. Faithfully reproducing the original. All right. So E, legally valid. Perfect. Legally valid. So would that be like getting pulled over and having all your license, registration, and your insurance and everything? You would be legally valid.
I think that's more like the cop having his badge and him saying, "Step out the car, sir." I think he's legally valid.
Okay. I think everybody follows under. Everybody's good there. Him having his badge, Paul, his training and everything, his HR training and her HR training, the office's HR training and everything.
Yeah.
And then you being a citizen with moving about
legally with your valid documentation,
with your tags and your insurance and your.
I think you are legally valid. I think everybody legally valid. You're right.
I don't know. It's probably some people out here riding around ain't too legally valid. But hope they make it home safe.
Definitely.
2. So we have expert. We have proficient. Proficient. It's a word very familiar with. I tell you a little quick story about proficient. When I was in the service, they started using this word. And our admiral came to visit. And I asked some questions. And I had one question to ask. And I asked the admiral, I said, Admiral, how do we actually become proficient in a culture that is make the rank learn the job? And of course, she directed me to the Master Chief.
I'm sure that went well.
And the Master Chief was just like, "Are you serious?" Then she didn't say that, but that's how she looked at it. So I never got an answer. Yeah, they told me to email some shit, but I had work to do for real. I was really trying to be proficient. So, I just asked that because I knew it would be one of them questions that would be like, damn, how do you answer that? How do you, knowing that you came up through a culture where the culture does not promote learning and the whole job, I would say at least 60% of what you need to do prior to advancement. You can totally just take the test and then boom. But the problem with that is now you get thrown in the fire. So if you got the rank and then you go to the job and you underperforming, then, people complain. So I'm like, why are we setting each up for failure like that? And I saw that a lot in my rate. So that was another thing that I was just like, maybe other rates don't have the same type of stresses. But, but what we had going on, man, like it's either sink or swim because everybody's depending on you. So perfect, y'all. We define the word perfect. Just telling a little OC story. We are on 3A, pure, total, lacking in no essential detail, complete.
Essential detail.
essential detail.
I like that.
Lacking in no essential detail. Complete. C, obsolete. Sane. To be perfect was to be sane. What the hell is the definition of sanity nowadays? Everybody crazy. Shit. All right. So we got D, absolute and unequivocal. Then we have E, an extreme kind, unmitigated. And of an extreme kind, unmitigated. And then they gave the perfect brat, or an act of perfect foolishness. I didn't even know you could use it like that. That was an act of perfect foolishness.
Man, you dumb. That's what you tell you. That's what you basically say. You dumb,
right?
you big dummy. That's funny.
It's, it sounds like, it sounds like somebody will go ahead and say an act of perfect foolishness. Like, yes, an act of perfect foolishness. Obsolete, mature, perfect, mature. So we can't be running around here saying we grown up, thinking our shit don't stink, thinking we perfect. Because it takes a level of maturity to be perfect.
It says so in the definition.
It says so in the definition. Yeah. We working on it too. Shit.
Hell yeah.
Then we have 5, of, relating to or constituting a verb form of verbal that expresses an action or a state completed at the time of speaking or at the time spoken of. Of, related to, or a constituting verb form or verbal that expresses an action or state completed at the time of speaking or at the time spoken of. Or at a time spoken of.
Six. Long ass definition.
All right. ADD.
You know what I'm saying? Like, eggs.
ADD. All right, so we got 6. Certain, sure, contented, satisfied. And there goes satisfied. I didn't even know that was in there. But they're still saying that these are obsolete. And remember I was talking about earlier, like what I was saying, like
I don't think obsolete mean. I just think it don't apply. I just think people don't use it like that no more.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what when I'm referring to it as obsolete, that's what I'm referring to it as, is that people don't use it this way anymore.
Yeah.
People don't look at it as a satisfied thing, as a mature thing. What else was obsolete? Sane.
Yeah, proficient.
Yeah. People don't look at it as these things. Perfect is always brought in that, but ain't nobody perfect. So it's always something that can't be obtained. It's like unobtainium. You see in some of these movies, unobtainium.
Look at that. Even being certain and sure is a form of perfect.
Is a form of perfect. Yeah.
So somebody could be certain and sure and be mislabeled as being arrogant.
Right. I'm absolutely certain. I'm absolutely sure.
You're arrogant as you absolutely perfect. You absolutely sure. Come on, God. Like absolutely. Like yeah.
But that's because people want to look for They don't want to be right. They look for the misery
Mm-hmm.
and the struggle to get there. You know, they thrive off of the friction of, what did you say? One episode you said, "Oh, that's too peaceful for me. I need, I need confusion. I needed to feel uh like it's life or death before we solve this problem, before we get to this goal. You know,
The sky gotta fall.
like if it don't hurt, then it wasn't worth it.
People
You
crazy.
know, like a slow ride. Take
Mm.
it easy. Like that ain't something that's worth the ride too. Like shit, if we don't gotta do it like that, let's not do it like that. So 7 of musical interval belonging to the consonants unison, fourth, fifth, and octave, which become augmented or diminished when raised or lowered by a half step. Okay, so I made beats. I didn't. I don't know. you know.
Yo, yo, yeah, I just started learning to play my guitar finally, right? I paid for lessons and stuff, and I messed around and broke my string, and I ain't picked my guitar back up in like a week, bro. Like I'm like, man, what do I do now? I gotta watch the video.
Go to Guitar Center.
I figure out how to place my string now.
Yeah, that's it. YouTube. How to replace a guitar string is on there.
Hell yeah.
Probably 1,000 of them. Yep. Go to Guitar Center, Sam Ash, one of them places, get you a string. Be good to go. We have 8. We are defining the word perfect, y'all. 8, sexually mature and fully differentiated. Sexually mature and fully differentiated.
Got that. It's like we talk about animals, if they're intact or not, meaning they can reproduce. They ain't been neutered or spayed.
Okay. And then they are perfect for reproduction. B, having both stamens and pistils in the same flower. Now, I know what pistils are.
As a self-reproducing flower, bro.
But that's what I was about to say. That sounds like I hate to use the word that they use because it's like it's a herm. But that's what they call a plant when it's both sexes.
Yeah.
Because it can produce fruit and seeds at the same time. So like it'll have flower and seeds.
Yeah, self-pollinating.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you may have to, I don't know. We have to look at stamens. I have to look that up. Because most I don't know, most of them don't self-pollinate like that.
Nah, most don't.
Yeah, most don't self-pollinate. Most time you have to have the male to pollinate the pistils. So we have perfect here as a verb. To bring to final form, to make perfect, improve, refine. And then we have perfect as a noun. The perfect tense of language, also a verb form of the perfect tense. We have synonyms in the absolute form, in the adjective form of absolute, ideal, indefectible, picture book, unblemished, picture perfect, irreproachable, immaculate, faultless, flawless, impeccable, letter perfect, seamless, complete, consummate, finalized, finished, and polished. And then we go over here to the thesaurus so we can see our synonyms of perfect. It is given to us 5 different ways. The first way, as in ideal, being entirely without fault or flaw. Being entirely without fault or flaw. We have ideal, superb, flawless, excellent, immaculate, prime, great, terrific, perfected, faultless, seamless, absolute, impeccable, unblemished, exceptional, irreproachable, classic, picture perfect, polished, picture book, marvelous, marvelous. Letter perfect, entire, fine, superior, indefectible, fabulous, special, expert, complete, superlative, 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 whole, first class, dandy, consummate, first rate, unsurpassed, masterly, finished, intact, completed, top, grand, accurate, fancy, top-notch, correct, mint, unspoiled, precise, unimpaired, undamaged, exact, high-grade, bulletproof, infallible, uninjured, airtight, unfailing, unerring, unmarred, unbruised, and inerrant. All right. Then we have perfect as in simple, having no exceptions or restrictions. Simple, complete, absolute, unconditional, sheer, pure, utter, total, definite, damn, very, real, damned, damned it, God damned it.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Outright, huge, deadly, regular, endless, clean, dreadful, profound, thorough, fair, consummate, crashing, categorical, downright, blank, unmitigated, flat, constant, unadulterated, through growing, unqualified, plumb, stark. Damn, how you tell somebody that? How do you use unqualified to tell somebody that imperfect?
I don't know.
Is it like they failed and they say, and then you say, that was perfect. Try again. You did perfect. Try again. Is that how you use that to tell somebody they ain't qualified? That was perfect, but you're gonna need to try again. Is that?
Oh man.
So you're using it kind of cynically?
I would imagine.
That's simple. They say simple. Cause I guess if they when they was failing, you would be like, damn. Oh no. Genuine, blooming. What they have blooming as? Chiefly British. We have to see what that is. Horrible, flat out, unalloyed, terrible, dead, rank, bodacious, authentic, vertible, errant. I know somebody named Errant. Extreme, classic, perpetual, straight out, stone, all out, out and out.
You said you know somebody named Errant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spelled like that?
Arrant. I believe it is. I believe it's spelled exactly like that. I can check though. Let me see. I could be wrong. But we have unremitting, habitual, frightful, inveterate, and surpassing. All right, then we have perfect as in whole, not lacking in any part or member that properly belongs to it. Whole, entire, complete, full, total, comprehensive, integral, grand, intact,
Plenary.
plenary, 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 complete, extensive, maximal, exhaustive, undiminished, uncut, unabridged, full on, full scale, all out, full blown, full fledged, full out, full bore, full blooded, full blooded. Then we have perfect as in complete, to bring something to a state where nothing remains to be done. To bring to a state where nothing remains to be done. Complete. I mean, everything got done, right?
Mm-hmm.
That mean it came together well, like you planned it. It's done.
Yeah.
It's complete. And you brought it to a state where nothing else needs to be done because you solved that problem.
Move on.
Move on. Complete, finish, consummate, polish, finalize, accomplished. Get through whatever it took to get it done. Fulfill the purpose. Fulfill. Do it. Do the damn work. Achieve the goal. Execute the plan. Improve the situation. Be better. Watch the effects. Watch it change. Enhance. Perform. Carry out the mission. Stick it out. Get it done. Enrich yourself. Refine. Follow through with. Don't half-ass. Get it done. Machine. Carry through. Shine on. When you get it done, shine. Let the sun shine. You did it. You did the work. Ameliorate. Amend. Round off or out. Discharge. Ameliorate. Touch up. And then we have perfect as in to improve, to make better. To make better. I'm trying to get this thing as perfect as I can get it. Right? Ain't that how we say it? I'm trying to get this thing as perfect as I can get it. So what do I need to do that? I need to improve. I need to enhance. I need to make better. I need to help, to enrich, to remedy, to refine, to upgrade, to amend, to reinforce, to rectify, to find, to intensify.
Ameliorate,
to correct whatever needs to be corrected. Along the way, we learn things. That's why we be talking about it's no such thing as failure unless you're just not trying. Because if I'm trying to do something and I get to a place where it's not going the way that I need it to, the way I thought it was going to go, then what do I need to do? I need to correct, make some corrections so I can get there. That doesn't mean I'm failing. That means I'm learning along the way so that way I can get to my goal, which ultimately is what? Making better, because I'm reinforcing my game plan. I'm strengthening my mind. I'm strengthening the plan. I don't know what ameliorate is, but I'm sure it's along the lines of that. We're going to rectify. We're going to make it fine. We're going to intensify. We're going to rehabilitate, reform, revise, fine-tune, edit, boost, rework, refurbish. We're going to polish it, revamp it, fortify it, hone our skills, amend, reinforce it. We're going to beef up. We're going to rehab, redraft, retouch, and touch up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the synonyms of the word perfect. And we brought the definition back up. source from Merriam-Webster, Merriam,
Mhm.
Merriam-Webster .com dictionary for the word perfect. And we have being entirely without fault or defect, flawless, satisfying all requirements corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept, faithfully reproducing the original, legally valid, expert, proficient, pure, total, lacking in no essential detail, complete. And now, back to our questions. Can something truly be perfect? If yes or no, explain.
So for me, not besides nature, besides the universe, besides the things that just are. Um, the only thing that can be perfect in life is death, right? But besides that, uh, nothing else can be perfect. Like even and I say that because we got haters everywhere. Like you say, that for every effect there's opposite action or whatever. For every action is opposite reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
you can shake somebody's hand enthusiastically, and they be like, "Yo, why you shake my hand so hard?"
Yeah.
Right? And you ain't mean it like that. Um, they could be in a bad mood. They could just not be in a good place to receive that handshake, and looking for a place to release that negativity, and it might just be on you, right? But at the same time, so to what I think I know, or to what I think I understand of what imposter syndrome is, um, not feeling like you're the person that's supposed to be doing a thing, that there could always be somebody better, or you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, that they're gonna find out that you're really not that great or something like that. I think a lot of people have a lot of that going on, and even in that synonym, I want to say it was under improve. Um, I think the definition that they gave, or the example that they gave, was a painter. Uh, something to the effect that the instructor is always looking to make the painting better by doing an extra stroke or two or something like that, right? You can always make it better by just doing a few more strokes, right? So here it is. From the way I read that, the artist had a thing in their mind and they put it on the canvas, and the instructor was like, "Yeah, but if you just do this, you can just make it pop just a little bit more, and it can just be better, and it'd be more perfect." Right? Which may more perfect. You muted, God. You muted. Yo, you muted, God.
So would it be more perfect, or would it be
So
now that he's added those strokes, now it's perfect?
now it's perfect. See, I'm saying it won't ever be perfect, because if he saw some strokes that could have been added to make it perfect, somebody else looking at it could have seen something that, like, maybe if you would have not done those strokes, it would have been perfect, right? Like, it's always a dart to throw at something.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I would have to ask, look, now let's nitpick it. Look now,
See?
look now, let's nitpick it, right? So now is the other person asking an artist, or are they just somebody who think they know art?
That's what I'm saying.
Or is this
And
somebody who don't like this person for some other reason, so now they just hating on their art, like
that's what I'm saying, right? That's
it
why I
be
say
so
there's
many things.
there's there's haters everywhere, and we suffer from imposter syndrome, right? So is I'm saying like when that artist took whatever was in their mind and put it on the canvas and stepped back and said done, I'm saying it was perfect then. I'm saying when the instructor came up and was like, yo, 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 I see what you did there, but if you just do a a couple more strokes to the left and right, it'll just do it better. It'll be I'm saying like it's always that one more thing, and it's like whose definition are we going by? Is it going by the artist? You going by the instructor? You going by the
Well, in that scenario, I'm gonna say that the instructor has the lead because this person is being instructed, so they're being taught. It's not it's not them coming back saying, well, they're under instruction. So like it's no way in that scenario that it won't be that the instructor is not going to give criticism critically because they're trying to teach something based on their example, that an art teacher who seems to believe that you can always perfect a painting with some additional brush strokes, right? Well, you in class, so you only get an A if if you do what the teacher say, right? Like ain't that how this shit work, you know? So in that situation, like I could see if it's now, um, if the art the art dealer told the painter that the painting would be better or more perfect if they went back and put some paint on the canvas. Like now it's kind of like you sell the shit, I make it. You know, you know, it's kind of like like even though you may know what people are looking for, like this is art. They want the shit that I paint. Like it's not. They're not looking for, oh, we want you to paint it like this. No, that when it comes to art, like whatever the hell you paint, if it reaches that value in that community where people are willing to pay whatever they're willing to pay for it, like that's the price.
And
You,
that's what I think. That's what I think, right? Like I think, which is why I said, and you're right, because in that because you have an instructor, you're under tutelage, so the instructor got to be right.
yeah, like I mean, because they checking your work.
Checking your work, even though you painted what was in your head.
Even though even though they gave you an assignment, they said paint this.
To paint this, yeah.
You know, you still have to, once you paint it, did I do a good job? You still have to look for them for affirmation, for confirmation.
But I know mad people that I talk to on a regular basis at work, and just people talk to me all the time that don't feel like they feel confident and proud of themselves,
Hmm.
but they don't necessarily like soon as this DEI stuff came about, a lot of people started wondering for real if they was uh in their job for the right reasons or not.
Oh
Like
wow.
like that whole write down what you did last week, the five things. Um, th- that was a much bigger issue than I thought that it should have been um, amongst my colleagues, right? And a lot of people were embarrassed to write down what they did every week, thinking that it wasn't good enough. And
Wow.
and because people have repetitive jobs,
Yeah, yeah, it's some stuff
and
that just need to make sure that it's running.
so people were scared to rewrite the same things over and over and over again and make it seem like they not doing nothing. Like it's just a bunch of
I get it.
which is why I use the word imposter syndrome. Like that's unless I'm completely using that term wrong, right? I feel like that those people were scared to say I did these five things, thinking that somebody's gonna say, well, those five things aren't good enough for you to keep this job.
Guy, it's no different from evals. you know,
Yeah.
because I used to hate them. You know, I was the worst at them because I'm like, you see me doing this shit every day. So I'm not here to write it up and be like, yeah, I'm the Superman of this, you know, like you see
But
me doing it.
but
So
evals was different though, God, because like everybody feel like that, and it's mostly because who the hell remembers what the hell you've been doing for the last 6 months?
but
You know what I'm
I'm like, I don't remember the shit that I did yesterday.
saying? You know what I'm saying?
But 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 everybody who benefited from it does,
That's true.
you know.
All their bellies are full.
You know, everybody who I supported, everybody who came through got a smile, got a good morning, got a how your day going, got are you okay? Everything all right? How's the family? How's this? How's that? You know what I'm saying? Everybody who got all of that work was able to go and do their work and and, hey, can you come help me do this or what? So I'm like, man, I got shit to do. You want me write down? Like I got shit to do. Like that, I'm on the flight ops too. We got LE dog. Like I'm doing all
No,
this shit,
for
man. Like,
real. That's why I say, man. They like just rewrite that shit.
yeah, it's like, come on, like you see me? Didn't you see me, supervisor? you know, I know. One time I asked my supervisor, I said, look, I pulled to the side, guy. I said, look, I'm not trying to brag. He said, yes, you are, because you led with that. I said, but you asking me to write all this shit down, man. Like, just write down I do the opposite shit of what the other four guys do because because clearly you always calling me to do this, to do that, do that, but you don't stay on their ass for nothing. They just here, just collecting a check. So, everything that they don't do, just write me down for that and I'll be good,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I get it because it's so repetitive and you just like, how do you write down, uh, I have a smile on my face no matter what's going on in my own personal life to make sure that, the morale is intact.
Yeah.
Like how do you write that down? Like, and that's what you're doing. People don't, you asking everybody else how they shit going, but ain't nobody really asking you how yours going. Ain't nobody, everybody's so accustomed to you saying, how's your family? How's this? How you doing? How that? But you might got one or two people that you talk to, but and then most of the time you're not even really trying to have that conversation because you're trying to think about take your mind off the shit because you can't do nothing about it. Shout out to all my people that's deployed, man. I understand the sacrifices.
100%.
Because I done been there and done that.
Been there, done that.
So definitely trying to keep it more perfect. More perfect, right? Trying to make it more perfect. Can something truly be perfect? Yes or no? Well, like we said earlier, God, when it comes down to just nature, like, I mean, the only thing that can be perfect is nature because we didn't create that. We ain't had no hand in that. And it can't be explained. It's just what is thought to be believed. So we do know that those things are connected to something different. They act different. They, I always say, Mother Nature is a bitch. And she's, she does whatever she want.
Whenever she
want. I haven't heard of a hurricane coming through Spain saying we're not gonna do this. Nah, it's fucking up shit. I haven't heard no floods, natural disasters, none of that stuff coming through deciding not to do whatever it's gonna do. So even in all that destruction, that's perfectness because it's like, who do you complain to? Who do you cry to?
Exactly. That's gonna make that stop and never happen again.
Right. Like who do you complain to after a hurricane? Only thing you can do is thank God that you still have some breath to breathe to be able to thank God, you know, or any other type of natural disaster. Because we done been through a bunch of earthquakes, all that, and seen the aftermaths. So, can something truly be perfect? You know, going with the ideal that we can make things perfect, and it's that result, it's that end, it's that what was that word I said earlier that they had on there? Um,
It was complete. It was whole. It was.
hold on, I'm gonna pull it back up right quick. Satisfied,
Yeah. Sorry, I got the circle too.
satisfied.
I got the circle.
You know, I definitely think, even though they say that's obsolete, you know, I think we should bring that back
Hmm.
because then this will encourage more. You know, like when we look at the meaning of satisfied now, you know, people using it like, you know, whether they satisfied or I'm satisfied with this, or is you
Hmm.
satisfied, or is you you know,
And they
like,
always make that face when they say
is you satisfied? You know what I'm saying? Like you did somebody a favor
it.
for probably just being responsible for your own shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do nobody no favor for being responsible for your own shit, but yourself. You know, um, but I think because we don't correlate satisfaction to being perfect, and the fact that we have the control over those choices that we make to get to that satisfaction,
Yeah.
because it isn't taught that way anymore. It isn't encouraged that way anymore. It isn't, if it ever was. What they said is obsolete.
So it had to be at some point. But and the fact that they made it obsolete means that I don't know, man. Like it probably wasn't widely accepted when it was used.
I
The
think I think that's because the church was running interference.
church was on it. Yeah.
You know, where the only thing that is perfect is, you know,
Yeah.
Father, Spirit, and, you know, and the Son. That's it. Like everything else, everything else has to deal with, you know, hope you get there.
Hmm.
Good luck. Good luck with your goal. So I think because we have that, you know, then no, nothing can truly be perfect, because we continue to learn, unless you one of them people that is just like, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know this. I don't need to know, you
Yo,
know.
you know what's crazy? This shit could be perfect. We just won't let it. Like it's because of that whole because you always got something running interference to block that, right? To stop us from being satisfied and finding satisfaction in life, right? Like we always, yeah, but I don't have that car. Yeah, so I got the car now, but I don't have that car though. Yeah, I got that car now, but I don't have that girl. Yeah, but you're not gonna get that girl. He got that girl,
Exactly.
right? And that girl crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that car is
It's
is is too expensive,
way too expensive.
and do you even really need it? Is it a need, or is just something you think somebody else gonna think you got something because they see you in it?
And that's why I like the word satisfaction because another word it they talked about was requirement. And and the thing about requirement, and they also use the word essentials, right?
Mhm.
Um, those words aren't everything, but they are everything that you need, right? Like they're everything that you need to get through your situation. It might not be everything in your imagination, but it's everything that's real, right? And that's what we have to learn to get out of our fantasy and get out of our imagination, right? And be satisfied with what's real,
Yeah.
right? Like that's where we're failing at. Like we're not satisfied with reality. And we want something more and better than reality.
VR, virtual reality, a metaverse. You know, I just watched this movie, guy. I hadn't watched movies in so long. So I took a day or two just to relax, just to decompress. And it's called The Electric State.
The electric state.
The Electric State. And it was crazy. It was a crazy movie about this girl trying to find her little brother and how his consciousness was being controlled, being used for this virtual reality thing that like everybody was just connected to. It was almost like it's like cell phones, but they had, you know, because everybody now you can find sitting in the house like,
Yeah.
you know, with the TV on and shit, right? It's wasting electricity. So like, but in this movie though, they had headsets and everybody had the headset on. And they was just like, it was like middle America, and they were just sitting out in the country, buffaloes and shit out, you know, goats and sheep carried on out in the pasture. Ain't nobody feeding them. They just sitting on the damn porch with they in the rocking chair with their head down, just
Oh man, living life.
in VR world. Half your brain one place,
Living
other
life.
half, you know, they had a robot war. So then they had these bots that we could have, and you could put your half of your brain in the other bot, and then you could have half of your brain somewhere else on vacation and shit in the VR world. So I was like, damn, that's some cool shit though. You know, you got your robot doing all that shit for you.
You don't get hurt at all.
You don't get hurt, you just sitting still, you know. I mean,
You way over here actually.
man, I was like, this is the wildest shit I ever seen. But you know, but is it? Is it, you know, when we look at it, just saying that how people would be sitting in the house, you know, but they on the phone, you know, and I can remember when, you know, that's why in my community, like I go out my way, like when the kids outside playing and stuff like that, I love to see children outside playing, God, because I know in certain places it's parents that gotta keep their kids in the house.
Facts.
They have to have them on video games and shit like that because it's just so dangerous in the community where they live at, where they have to be at. The kids can't even go outside and play freely in America.
Yeah.
You know, it's like some people don't even appreciate that, don't even value it, you know. But
It's too basic. It's too regular.
but I know that shit is going on. Like I'm not living in, because they're not gonna take their kids to them neighborhoods and just be like, go play. You know, so I value that because I'm just like, man, sitting in the house on these computers and things like that, it's good if you actually doing something. Like if you got a young astronaut in training, a young chemist, a young Neil deGrasse, what's his name? deGrasse High Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, if you got a little young dude like the young lady, you know what I'm saying, coming up like that, yeah, man, had him with the telescopes and all that stuff, you know, like be engaged, encourage it, you know. But I'm like, but to just be plugged into these daggone devices, like playing games, ding, the phone just ding, 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 ding. Sometimes I be going places, I just be sitting and watching, God, I be like, man,
I can't handle it. My phone be on do not disturb, man.
I'm like, I'm like, how does that help? That's what I be just trying to figure out. Like, how does that help?
Too many notifications.
You know, as far as learning, like, how does that help learning? You know, because I know, like, I ain't learned shit playing the video games, except for just trying to beat another level. You know, that was really it. It wasn't even, it was nothing that I could use on Atari or Nintendo in history class or math class or English or none of that. None of them skill sets was transferable. So it didn't do any, you know, it helped me have fun, but it didn't contribute to any of my education at all. So, and now we see youngins, the youth, actually trying to reenact shit like GTA in real life. You know, so that's what we get for being perfect. So that's what we get for trying to be perfect. So, can something truly be perfect? If yes or no, explain. Let us know in the comment section. If you think something can be truly be perfect, other than what God, the universe has made, the things that we are fortunate enough to benefit from, like the trees, oxygen, water, birds, things like that. Because nobody still knows who came first, the chicken or the egg. Nobody knows who came first, the chicken or the egg. But thank God for a ground bird. You know, we got the turkey and the chicken and the ostrich. People don't eat ostrich too much no more, but ostrich burger is pretty good. Ostrich is not bad. A little gamey, but it's pretty decent. We are smoking on the word perfect tonight. If you're just joining us, make sure to like and share the video. Also, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. We really appreciate it. Don't forget the links in the description. We got some great merchandise, products, and all that good stuff. We really appreciate y'all. We are smoking on the word perfect, and we are moving on to our third question this evening. How does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? How does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? Let us know in the comment section.
This is a tough one for me, right? Because on one hand, I can see how it can be easily said that social media portrays an image that everybody's life is perfect. Everybody only posts positive things and whatnot. And I can see how that might look true, but I know that there's a lot of negativity on social media. I know that people post a lot of their sadness on social media. And for whatever reason, people bypass people's sadness and focus in on all you show is your good times. You only show when you laughing, you only show when you smiling, you only show when you're on vacation, you only show me your house when your house is clean.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you show me your house when your house is dirty? And I'm like, but when they did, they was crying, and you scroll past that video, right? Like I think like I said, like I think there's a perception that social media, because you got the Instagram models, so there's a illusion that this is what all the women are supposed to look like, or all the girls supposed to look like, or this is what the guys want from the girls, right? And social media is dictating that to us based on how many double clicks, how many likes we give these people. So if you like them, then that must be what you're attracted to. And I'm like, I don't know.
The
I think
like button is free.
it's free, but I think while it's free, I think it's used as a weapon against us to give us a false reality of what's true, right? So women will say, I heard women say, you men always liking these Instagram models. You like the fake breasts, you like the fake hair, you like the fake ass, you like the fake. So that's why we do it, so that we can get your attention, because that's what you seem to like. And I'm like, that's not a true like though. Like, because we might double click on her, but we're not gonna pay her rent.
Somebody might pay her rent.
Yeah, but
It might not
it's not gonna be me though.
TV and BK so far. I mean, uh, already paying somebody's rent.
You know what I'm saying?
You
You know what I mean?
know?
But that like will have somebody thinking that somebody will pay their rent if they like them enough, right? And it's just a false. It's not a real like.
Right.
It's not a. It's just some shit you would do just so somebody will post another picture, right?
Yeah.
Like, you might not even necessarily like them. You just hope they show some more ass, or
Keep it coming.
keep it coming.
Keep
Like,
the
don't,
pics coming.
right? I'm gonna just keep double tap, because she just gonna, like, she like it. If I double tap, she gonna put up a new one, right? And it just, so it's a false reality, and then everybody's, then you got all the trends that people follow. So it's easy to, I don't know, man. Social media is a funny goddamn thing, right? Because a lot of people are subject to being manipulated, are open for it. A lot of people are looking to be accepted, right? And they want to do what everybody else is doing. Like, they don't want to stand out and be quote unquote black sheep,
Right.
right? So it's tricky, but I really don't know. Like, I think that social media get a bad rap as far as um giving an illusion of perfection, right? I think that's what you always look for. I think you're only looking for people to be happy, so you can be mad about something. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds so miserable.
You know what I'm saying?
That sounds so miserable.
That's
You
what I think. Cause why? Cause why would you say um somebody only posts their positive things, they never post their negative things? Like, what are you looking for? Like, are you gonna double tap on their negativity? Like, are you gonna
Well,
like,
well,
what do you?
I think people don't get the fact that like social media is something that you have control over. Like, like nobody's telling you to put your wife, your kids, your relationship. Oh, we just got this. Oh, we got it. Like nobody telling you have to do. There's no rule that's what you have to do.
At all?
Like you
You
can
cannot.
yeah, you can absolutely choose to post whatever the hell you want, on your, as long as it's within guidelines where you're not offending nobody, or the platform doesn't ban you or take you down. Like people know those things, but other than that, socially, yeah, because trends have always been followed in style and fashion and music, people listening to music and
Mhm.
things like that. um I think I was having a conversation with Just Entertainment, and he was asking me about like some of the younger rap artists and stuff like that, and I was telling him like I don't listen to that, like I now certain songs, yeah, if it's a big song and I like it and it's cool, yeah, I jam to it. But like I'm not going to go check for that because that ain't my age, and 10 times out of 10, I'm not going to be able to resonate with what they got going on. You know, I'm not going to be able to, because I'm not doing that stuff. So my point was just like I'm almost 50 years old, bro, and I'm trying to get there. So I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not one of them people that feel like I'm 50 years old and I need to be trying to act like I'm 25 and shit like that, you know, or I need to be trying to act like I'm 30. Nah, we already did that already.
You're not still trying to figure it out,
Yeah, like I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, nah, we got certain things are perfect, you know?
right?
Certain things are perfect. Not everything, it ain't totally perfect, but certain things they are perfect enough for me, you know. And whatever I have to work on to allow them to be better, then I'm going to do that work, you know. Because just because it's perfect don't mean sometimes it don't need a little bit of shaping, you know.
Or polishing.
Or polishing, right? Polish. That's right. The polish, you know.
Yeah, because it had all those words in there: refine, edit. You can
Edit,
all
refine.
that, right? It's yo, man. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to social media, like it's. I think people give too much of their power away, right? And want somebody to blame other than their lack of action.
Well, yeah, accountability is just a lost, you know, human characteristic nowadays. Like everything is place the blame, point the finger, you know. And it's like sometimes, yeah, you can place blame and point finger, but you know, don't throw a rock and hide your hand.
That part right there.
You know, to be forthcoming, put it all out on the table, so there can be transparency and they can be resolved. You know, at least that's what adults do. You
When
know,
you're mature,
when you
that's
mature, yeah,
another word that is obsolete. But also used for the word perfect,
right,
mature, because
mature,
it's not just adults, right? Because that's also another fantasy or not a well defined word.
yeah,
Because maturity has to come with that um uh adult age.
yeah, because you could say that a person is
You could be
of an adult
almost
age, yeah, yeah,
almost 50 years. Look at it depends how you feel about it, right? Like that whole Shannon Sharp situation.
okay,
Right? Like of an adult age making silly mistakes like this, right? Like you would think that he would be more responsible with his unit at this age,
yeah, he wouldn't let his dick make a dummy out of him.
right? But you know what I'm
Clearly,
saying?
clearly, and I heard he offered to settle. I can't wait to get back with Justin Entertainment. He said he was gonna offer to settle.
He did.
I said he was gonna offer to settle.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he
Right?
should have. He should have been gave her some
And
money.
that's what I'm saying, right? Like that's not like his actions, his behavior is not that of a mature man,
No,
right? Um,
clearly wasn't. Like he said, like Shannon Sharp said, I don't want to date my age. I want to date my wage.
I want to date my wage, right?
Okay.
And you can and if he was mature enough to have these relationships, like I don't think he would be in this situation he would be in now. Like everybody would be satisfied, everybody would be put together okay, right? And I'm not saying anti the age gap or pro the age gap. I don't give a damn. I'm
Yeah.
just saying the fact that he's old enough to have seen this coming, like he's a retired NFL player, like he's been having women coming at him since forever, right? So he should be used to um vagina.
True. You know, but sometimes guys not used to managing situations. Sometimes the women will be the one who come on strong and then they take the lead and they be like, because I knew somebody before who used to date uh who used to date a lot of professional athletes and things like that. And
Mhm.
that person was very, very like bossy, like this what we doing, this what we doing. Like they was the one in charge, you know. So honestly, like that was their attitude, that was their characteristics, that was their personality, where it was just like, I'm gonna say what's going on. And when you got, the measurements, and the and you can meet the requirement, then
Then it's perfect.
yeah. So that's why I look at like with Shannon Sharp thing is just like, okay, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Like, what are you talking about? Right? It's like-
You
talking about
know,
is a shakedown. Like, come on, bro. Obviously, it's a shakedown. Like, and that's why you don't get any sympathy from me because this is clearly a shakedown, right? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like maturity would have said make you unshakedownable.
that's what I think,
You know what I'm
right? At least with Puff too. I'm just like, why you ain't give Cassie some money? Like you could have gave Cassie 10 million, like everything, just her story. I don't care about none of the accusations I like,
you
but
could have gave her what she asked for, whatever she asked for, and it wouldn't have hurt you.
he could have just gave her 10 and none of this would have never even happened. He could have gave her 10 when she walked away, but what he tried to do is be like, "Man, you, you know what I'm saying? You just a
Yeah,
little, and I
yeah,
use people and do what I want
yeah.
because everybody else has been saying what that Puff don't pay him. He, a shrewd businessman. Let's
Hmm.
say that. Okay. So if that is the case, then you're letting that spill over into your own personal relationships. And he practically was with that little girl from when she was like 19 or something like that, all the way up until maybe she was 29 or something. I don't know. But that's a long time, man. You could have gave her a meal a year for her time. You could have gave her 10 mil. Like it's nothing to you a billionaire. And then
Again, like lack of maturity, right? Because if you,
right.
because like you said, you could have just gave her what she asked for, and you wouldn't have none of these issues.
None. He could have gave her publishing on her music and stuff like that, and some of that money, some royalties off that. Like he could have. It was a way for this not to turn around
Yeah,
and come back years later to bite him in the ass, and now have him, where people saying stupid shit like, "Oh, he in there buying up all the Jack Mac, and he in there, running to jail and like that shit is something cool, dog. Like
yeah,
running to jail."
yeah,
The warden run the fucking jail,
yeah,
dummy.
yeah,
The COs run the fucking jail, dummy.
yeah,
They the ones who go to work and come and go home every day.
yeah.
So like, why would somebody who could eat caviar every day now I got Jack Mac? Like, watch your fucking sodium, Puff. You know what I'm saying? For real, like that don't
Yeah,
even make sense to me.
yeah, nah. That's why so they need to bring Satisfy back. No, not they. We need to bring Satisfy back
And
and
mature back.
mature back, right? Because
Perfect.
those things are perfect for the word perfect. They because like I said, like as humans, like 1A, no, like nobody's ever gonna be without flaw, and it's always gonna be something wrong,
Right.
right?
How?
Like you can't like man. Even all the walls in your house might ever be the same dimension.
Man, I know they not around here the way they built
You
these
know what I'm saying, bro? Yo,
houses.
my living room
No,
is like a
they
half an inch too short, bro. I'm like, come
don't.
on.
Like I was putting a door on. I was putting a door on in the garage, God. I'm putting a little door up in the garage. It took me a while to do it, right? And I'm just like, wow, all the other doors kind of slid in. And the guy came to install one door. And he said, "Oh, you know why?" He said, "Because this frame is fucked up, man." Like, he didn't even hesitate. He was just like, bro, who built? He was like, this shit is a new build. He was like, this frame is fucked up. Like, you know, and I just said, man, can you, is it a way we can get it in there? You know? And he was like, yeah, we worked that shit. It's in there square now, but you see where it took some squaring, you
That's
know?
funny. That's funny.
So it's
You see what I'm
just
saying?
nothing is going to be perfect, man.
You see what I'm
Nothing.
saying? Like it's perfect now, right?
I'm satisfied.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm satisfied. The door isn't like this, you
You know
know.
what I'm saying?
Shit is, you know, it may not be quite like, you know, quite 100% level, but to the naked eye, like,
And just about nobody buys a perfect house.
yeah, yeah. Like it's always something. It's always something.
Always, huh?
Yeah, even that was one of them things. New houses, you get new house problems.
Yeah, like there's no such thing as no problems. Like it's
Yeah, pre-existing home, you're gonna get pre-existing home problems. So like pick your poison,
pick your poison.
you know, because nothing is perfect.
And one is not better than the other when you think about it.
No, 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 because the housing market is gonna be the housing market regardless. The
Yeah.
housing market is gonna be the housing market regardless. And if it doesn't get pumped up, then it's gonna get deflated. So, you know, and nobody knows when those things swing, when it happens. It's happening now though. It's definitely happening now. Yeah, over the next year, next 18 months, we're gonna see housing prices drop dramatically because so many foreclosed. It's another moratorium that's being lifted too. For people that don't know out there, anybody, you know, somebody, whoever's watching, if you know anybody who has a FHA loan, they need to make sure that if they took them a moratorium, that they had a paper together, because in September you're gonna need your money. If you don't have your money, you're not gonna have a home anymore. Yeah. So you can catch more information on that at Bose Podcast at BOWSPODCAST on the DBCHEFTV network. But yeah, but we talking about perfect tonight, y'all. And we've been answering our questions, and we are on our third question. How does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? And just to kind of piggyback and reiterate on one key point that the guy Ali Dawel, the BK Soul Farm, made, was just social media does make it to where it seems as though everything can go good like all the time, where you do see those things where people just show the highlights. They don't show what some people would like to think of as their struggle stuff, you know. But because you have the ability to post what you want to post, I don't see a problem with it, because I post what I want to post. You know, I have tons of pictures of family stuff that I just don't put out in the public. I'm very selective about things I release that's like that, because, you know, plus it's ours. It ain't really for the world. You know, if they were there, then you would have got to see it. And then you just share what you want. But that perfect thing that comes from the social media, that influence, is that it's not that the people need to show anything else. It's that people need to understand that you don't have to show something else. So that doesn't mean that what they're showing is real. It's actually their life. If you just show highlights of stuff, you know, it's a fake it to make it mindset. Like, you don't know what I have somebody tell me that I didn't say you need to post some struggle shit. No, never that, because we ain't with no struggles. But I'm like, I know you in real life. I know where you live. I know how you living. You know, like why you have on $3,000 tennis shoes, and you know, like, and you stand in front of this vehicle, like, but you're not really living like that though. Well, the answer I got was like, "Oh, you hating? I'm hating? I mean, I really want to see you live like that. I mean, I get you taking a picture, but if you tell me that you taking shit back to the Gucci store, or you doing refunds, or you reselling shit, like, bro, you're not having it for real. You know, you trying to keep up with something that you seeing on social media that you think is perfect, that you think is the perfect image, or the look for you, you know, and then you just post these scenes, you
With you in
know,
that look, in that
with you,
pose.
right? So, you know, I'm like, do your thing. It's your thing. I still like the post, but
Keep them
you
coming.
know, yeah, like, but the thing is, it's just like I'm not gonna always be liking it, but like, don't expect for me to be a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you doing that shit for fans.
Hmm.
You know, you not doing that shit for people who know you, who actually care about you, who, you know, who just like watching you keeping yourself in debt, trying to keep up with some shit because you think it's supposed to, because social media is influencing you to think that this is what it looks like, you know. So I just would encourage them to have their own version of it. Stop trying to follow the crowd, you know, because you can. But I think that that's where social media has that influence on perfect, because people can't distinguish the different, or people choose not to. I ain't gonna say they can't. People are choosing not to um, say, "Oh, that's real," or "That's fake," or "Oh, that shit is just not even necessary." Because I think we do a lot of that. Like, I could scroll through Instagram, and I don't do the scrolling too much. I go to my page and I see people that I know, and then I read whatever they got going on. If I read it and I fuck with it, I like it. And that's it, and keep it pushing. Then I'm up out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't on scrolling and shit. Like, my green light don't be on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You know? So
I be posting some stuff, and I be seeing the comments that people be leaving under my posts, and people be having like whole conversations. I'm like, man, like y'all serious? Like, like you can just like it or not like it. They keep on moving. Like, I'm not responding to none of this crap.
you know, but some people do. I had a conversation with somebody that I was trying to have as a co-host, and when we began interacting, they kept on sending me all these text messages with stuff like that, and I was just like, and I think they took it that I was being rude, but I wasn't. I was just like, look, I don't live my life online. You know, like, we make the content. So, you know, I get research, yes, trying to keep up with the pulse. But if you're going to be the co-host, then you just go ahead and bring that energy. You don't have to run it. I trust you, whatever you're going to bring. You do not have to send me everything talking about, hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at, no, like,
Show up.
I'm just like, just show up, and we're gonna do it. I trust you. Whatever you say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like, I try to give ownership in things, you know, but so many people just want to be told what to do and shit. I don't get it, bro.
Nah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like it's hard to stand out.
Or promote ownership, not give it, because it ain't mine to give.
Yeah, like it's
You know,
hard to stand out and be seen, or to be think that you're being like, it's hard, bro. Right? People scared of being that black sheep, like everybody want to follow along and do what everybody else do just so they don't be looked at as abnormal.
mm.
It's sad to me.
Yeah, I think it's sad because I always like originality. You know, I always value you know, having your own thing, man, like something that's unique. You know, not driving the same shit that everybody driving, not always wearing the same shoes or the same trending shoe that everybody wearing and shit, or not trying to have the same damn haircut as everybody else, you know, or I don't know. That's just the way I grew up. Like I just always valued that, you know, when everybody else was wearing you know, the local t-shirt company that was making all the t-shirts and sweatsuits and stuff, and everybody thought that, oh yeah, you gotta have one of them. Like, nah, we was wearing leather jackets and polos and Timbs. Like, we weren't even you know, we was like, nah, we ain't wearing that. They wear that. You know what I'm saying? We got on leather jackets, man. Like, y'all ain't even got this right here. You know, we got different color leather jackets. We wearing different color polos to school. You know, what color we calling each other in the morning. What color you wearing, man? I'm rocking the yellow. You rocking the orange? I'm rocking the blue. Okay. You know, we going there, orange, yellow, blue. What you wearing them up? You know.
That's funny.
Yeah. You know, we was on fashion like that growing up. But it was all but we stood out because everybody else wore the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else wanted to go get the new shoe that everybody was wearing. When I
Yeah.
went to the store, I never wanted the new shoe that everybody was wearing. I never wanted
I've
it.
never had a pair of Hirachis. I never had a pair of Jordans.
Yo, I got J's now, though. Yes.
Yeah, they don't make them in my size. I got 'em
Yes.
still.
I got J's now, but you can get them in any size, man. If you just got to look hard enough for them. Okay. But yes, I got J's now. But growing up, that wasn't because
Yeah,
everybody wanted it. You
everybody
know?
wanted them.
Yeah,
Everybody wanted
everybody
them.
wanted it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, nah, I don't want it because everybody wanted it. You know, I want something different. I want something a little bit more unique, have my own style. So, you know, we had top 10 Adidas, we had a lot of stuff. But yeah, y'all. So tonight we've been talking about the word perfect. And we've been going through our questions. So our first question is what are your thoughts when you hear the word perfect? Let us know in the comment section what your thoughts are when you hear the word perfect. We would appreciate it. Our second question this evening was, can something truly be perfect? If yes or no, explain. And the Cigarden Panel collectively agreed that the only thing that can be perfect is what can't be explained. And that's what God made. Or the universe, whatever you call your maker. Okay. Everything else is just, even though God made it, yeah, you know, but I don't know. God allowed for us to be fucked up with each other. You know?
Anything with a free choice can't be perfect.
Yeah, you know,
Or free will or whatever.
yeah, you know, so you have to take it up with your maker, because you know, but let us know what you think in the comment section down below. And our third question this evening was, how does social media's influence affect the perception of the word perfect? The guy Ali Dawood El shared some very good insights, and I also gave a little insight on why I think that social media affects the perception of the word perfect. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. We appreciate it. We love to hear from you, and we respond. Unlike on our social media, unlike on social media posts. But if you respond, but if you comment on Instagram or something like that, because to anything on DBCHEFTV network, I will respond, because I don't send out a lot of personal stuff at all anyway.
So now my BK Soul Farm page, I respond to those things because that's just about farming and stuff like that. But my Ali Dawood El page, that's just about whatever I want to post.
Okay, y'all. So BK Soul Farm on Instagram.
Instagram.
Make sure y'all can comment about everything, because that's where He dropping the jewels. They just told you the guy Ali Dawu L at BK Soul Farm on Instagram. Just let y'all know that that's where you can go and get the other content when we not here smoking on words like two big nerds. Okay, so all of everything that's in the book, if you go there, you might be lucky to see him actually doing some of that stuff. And then it's just like how to, like watching a YouTube video, you sit there, you watch what the God do, and then you be like, oh man, I'm inspired. I can go do that. Man, now we eating. Now we getting closer to self-sustainability, especially with these prices and tariffs and everything else, where they talking about avocados probably gonna be $8 when they already $4 a piece now. So
Are they?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Avocado $4, bro.
Oh man.
If you get an organic avocado, it's gonna be like $3.49 or something like that.
Yo, son, ever since
Per
I started,
avocado.
man, yo, ever since I started growing, I started eating things in season.
Yeah.
Right. So if it ain't coming off the tree and stuff like that, like I ain't really messing with it for real too tough. That's $4 for one avocado.
For an organic avocado, yes.
Oh, it's going down. See, that's why y'all got to support your local farmers, right? Because the God don't charge $4 for avocado. I don't charge
See,
$4.
so
And
we
I pick it
definitely
up, I
need
pick it
some.
off the tree for you. I say, which one you want? You want that one? That one? Which one you want? And
No,
it's not $4.
he's saying it's not $4, right? So there you go. If y'all want some avocados, I'm sure they can drop them in the mail and get them to you. So if you go to BK Soul Farm, you can see that avocado tree on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you might even be able to go ahead and place an order at BK Soul Farm. I don't know, but
Coming soon.
you won't know until you try. So,
Definitely.
and then things will be perfect. So we have been smoking on the word perfect this evening, y'all, and talking about perfect. And now we have come to that time where we ask that question: is the word perfect bad, good, or misunderstood?
So I'm gonna go with 100% misunderstood,
100%
right?
misunderstood.
Um, we I think we think about 1A a whole lot when we applying it to each other and to circumstances and stuff like that, and we don't give ourselves or each other a fair opportunity to be the very best version of ourselves, right? And we're not satisfied with the best version of ourselves, right? We think that there needs to be more, right? And because of that, like, and I think that's just a misunderstanding because because once you do your best and once you realize and acknowledge and really think about your actions, your thought process, your state of mind, your intentions, and if everything is where it's supposed to be, and what they say, if all boxes are checked and there's nothing left to do and you've completed all the assignments, then the only thing left is to be satisfied with that, right?
Right. Satisfying all requirements.
like like once you do that, like you have to be satisfied, and because we're taught not to be satisfied, we're taught not to settle, right? We misuse the word settle, we misuse the word satisfy, either misuse or we misunderstand. I don't
Definitely misuse it. Well, if you misunderstanding it, then you're gonna misuse it
100%.
because you have no full comprehension of the word to apply it correctly.
Yeah. I like the word perfect. I like the all the different ways that it is defined. I think all the word except for the two that was unintelligible to me, like the music one I ain't get, and the other one that was really long, I ain't get that one either.
Yeah, I didn't get the music one either. I do know what a interval is, but I would have to be like sitting in front of the, some music notes and need
Yeah, yeah, that's what
and
that's what
need a refresher. And then we had of or relating to or constituting a verb form or a verb that expresses an action or state completed at the time of speaking or at a time spoken of.
Yo, guys, you still see me? My camera just went out. I don't get it. It's like the second time.
I got you here though.
Word.
I got you here. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I had though. I had I like the word. I think it's a good word. I just think that it's misunderstood.
Okay. Okay. Well, definitely. Is it bad, good? Is the word perfect, bad, good, or misunderstood? I'm going to agree with the guy Ali Dawu El at BK Soul Farm that it is definitely misunderstood. But I'm gonna go and say the word perfect is good.
Mm.
I'm gonna say the word perfect is good. And the reason why I think that the word perfect is good is because two things we have here. All right. The first thing is that to understand perfect means that you are trying to even say, even from a religious aspect of it, to say like, okay, well, I know I ain't gonna never be like Jesus. I know I ain't gonna never be like God, because the preacher done told you 1,000 times, like that's the only person that's gonna be perfect, right? So I know I can't attain that. All right. But what I can do is I can try to at least some of those principles that I value, try to apply them to my life as best as I can in my attempt at something, at what my ideal of perfect is. Okay. And if that is something that motivates people to be better versions of themselves, then I think that's good. Okay. If it's being used that way. The second reason I think is good is because after learning the definition and seeing things like satisfying all requirements, even these obsolete things that we saw mature, satisfy certain, sure. All of these things help with to bring to final form, to improve, to refine. All of these things right here are things that we as human beings, at some point in time, in order to keep getting old, we have to start to apply these things to our life. Because without maturity, without proficiency, without certainty, without surety, you don't get things done. Without bringing things to final form, without improving, without you not learning, if you're not improving, without refining, you're not improving, because you're constantly just doing the same things, obviously. So there is no need to learn anything new. There is no need to improve. There is no need to refine. There is no need to say, hey, where did I go wrong at with this? And how can I fix this? How can I be better? So I think that the word perfect supports the improvement of oneself, the bettering of oneself. It's just if a person cares to examine the word and see how it applies to them. We have a problem where everybody walk around thinking they perfect. But we have a problem where people walk around thinking about, I can't be perfect, so it's okay for me to be this way, because I won't never be perfect anyway.
Which is way worse.
And that's a cop out. So that's why I think that is good, because it gives you, it can, if you value it, then it gives you something to not be a cop out, to not use as a cop out. You can use it as a building block if you so choose. So that's why I agree with the guy Ali Dawu El, that BK Soul Farm is definitely misunderstood because of those reasons, that it's not being used as the good reason.
I like the word. Like I said, I like it.
You know,
it's just we stuck on stupid.
It's just we really are having a difficult time with these words in society.
And we wouldn't if we acknowledge that we are having a difficult time with these words in society. Right? We would just stop having a difficult time if we would just acknowledge that we are having a difficult time. Right? And like you and I just did, God. Like we read 2 sentences of this definition and was like, yep, ADD. That was too
Right. Right.
Skip that one. That's too many
Right.
words.
That's too many words. It's look like it's gonna be a little bit. It might take too much time of the show. I don't know. I logically made a reason to not analyze it. You know, I'm gonna pick some of the other stuff to analyze and just go through. But
you know what I'm saying? But that's okay though, right? Because you don't get stuck on your deficiencies. You move on and you become satisfied with everything else. You check all the other requirements.
Right.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you don't go back.
It don't mean you don't go back, right?
And say, you know what, let me see how this applies, because I got this much of it, but I want to get the full understanding.
Yeah.
You know, so we did just do that in part, where we, you know, the of relating to or constituting a verb or verbal that expresses an action or state completed at the time of speaking or at the time spoken of. We just have to break it down. Of, relating to, I know what that is, you know, or constituting a verb form or verbal expression. I know what that is, you know. So it's just really like breaking it down, slowing it down to get the understanding. And that's all it takes, you know, because you want to be perfect. That's the thing right there. The word is perfect.
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like we demonstrated our perfectness and saying, you know what, ADD, skip that one.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of right, because that's what we need to be at, right? We need to be dealing with reality.
Yeah.
And
admitting some flaw.
Admitting some flaws so that you can be better.
Yeah.
So that you can say, you know what, I don't know that. That's too long. Let me put a check on that one so that I can go back. And when I go back, I got the rest of the definitions that I can use to help me, right? Put this one in context, right? Because I got way more words that I can use now that I've learned. It's just
absolutely
acknowledgement is half the battle.
Acknowledgement is half the battle. And with that said, another great conversation, another great word, perfect. Like we always say, smoking on words with 2 big nerds. We are not the gurus. You know, if you like something here, pick it up, have a smoke. If you don't, leave something in the ashtray for somebody else. We are trying to figure these things out ourselves. And we have a good time doing it, have fun. Like I say, in the spirit of the late Honorable Dr. Malcolm X, he went to prison and decided to pick up a dictionary because he realized that he had been taught an education that he was not fully able to comprehend. So in order to be able to apply it correctly, you need to be able to comprehend it correctly. And right now, I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the things, is because we don't know these words. Everybody just going along with the meaning and going along with the flow. And we're not applying none of this stuff as it is defined, you know, not even most of the shit as it was taught. So we thank everybody for pulling up this evening. And Make sure that you all have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. It's May, y'all, already. We are halfway through 2025.
That's crazy.
You know, we're more than halfway through. And man, y'all make sure y'all this commercial that I'm about to play, make sure that y'all go get a copy of this, because if these tariffs after May 1st go to 200%, you're gonna wish you had a bucket in a corner somewhere, because wages aren't going to go up that fast, meaning the money that we make, me too, we all gonna be part of that movement.
We all gonna be part of Me Too.
We all gonna be part of the Me Too movement. You know, because when you go to that grocery store, it's gonna be like, yeah, they got Me Too. You know, you go to that Walmart, that Target, that Lowe's, that Home Depot, they're gonna be like, yeah, they got Me Too.
Yeah, it's going down.
You know, so I encourage everybody to pay attention, because it's one of the only things that says pay in it that's free. And that's all you got from myself, DBCHEFTV, and the guy Ali Dabu L at BK Soul Farm. And we will see you all next time right here at Cigar Sundays Live. Peace, God.
Peace, God. This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigarden Panel, smoking on words like two big nerds, hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.